Okay, in this video we're going to be discussing again making your site visible without technical language, and we're going to be talking about knowing what Google says and make sure that you are understanding of what the changes are as they come. And you want to make sure that you are not dependent on anyone else to know what you need to know for your site, what you're going to need to know for your business, and what Google is changing. So basically, knowing the official updates for yourself, you'll need to make sure that when Google is making changes that you get notice of it. Now, you probably don't want to check Google's website on a daily basis in order to find out what changes they've made. That's probably going to be impractical, and that's not how you want to spend your time or run your business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a web browser here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you by going to the search bar and typing in Google Alerts, and that's what you should do. Type in Google Alerts, and you're going to see right here at the top that there is a link here for Google Alerts. You'll click that, and in the search query what you want to type in is Google official updates, and you might not want to type in the parentheses in there. That just narrows it down some. And if there are alerts for a particular day, that will show up in your alert box. Now let's see what happens with your alert box. What you're going to do is you're going to type in your email address and you're going to click Create Alert, and what's going to happen is every time the words Google official updates show up in a particular post, that post is going to be sent to you by email. So as long as you are checking your email, you'll be abreast of the changes that Google makes as it comes. Now, as you can see there on my first screen, there are some updates that are not going to be relevant. So it's not a foolproof system in that you will have to sift through some email. But you do want to make sure that you know what the changes are and what they're going to be, because if there's anything wrong with your site, you want to make sure that you are, let's say you are literally right on top of it, so that there is nothing that would be of detriment to your customers, nothing that's going to cause you to miss any income. So making sure that you have Google Alerts set up is a very important factor in determining what Google has changed. Now, the other thing that you'll want to do, and this is later on down the line, it's a little more advanced. It's probably not something that a new person does, but you can do it if you feel inclined, or if you feel that you are up to this. You can go to Google Webmaster Tools and set up an account for your website. Okay, now it's going to involve a few steps, and some of those steps are technical, but this will help you to determine, and it will help Google to help you to determine what changes have affected your site negatively. So if Google makes a change and then you want to determine whether or not what they've done has affected your site, one of the things that will help you and help them to have a conversation is for you to use Google Webmaster Tools, and you will be able to do that by going to the site that you see here on your screen. Just go to google.com and type in Webmaster Tools. You will have to set up an account with your email address, and that will help you part of the way to determine whether or not any changes that have been made are affecting your site in particular. Okay, now we've talked about Webmaster Tools, we've talked about Google Alerts. Now, one of the other things that I would suggest that you do is to make sure that you at least are looking at some of the search engine blogs, and that would mean some things like search engine people. Let's type that in. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is that, well, you've got some other searches here, and when you go to look at search engine people, what you might determine is that some of these articles are too technical. But if there is something that stands out to you about something that Google has done, or Google is doing, you want to take note of that in this particular blog. Now, if you're looking for a listing of blogs, you can find one at gainmindshare.com/trends. You can also find them by just going to the World Wide Web and just type in search engine blogs. Right, so you can type in search engine blogs and you can find any listing of them here. And you'll find a good listing of search engine blogs that you can check, and you just might want to find the one that is the most informative to you and then use that blog in order to determine what changes have been made by Google and which ones are going to affect you. Okay, so with that, we've talked about pretty much the 3 ways in which you will be able to know what Google is saying. We talked about creating a Google alert, talked about search engine blogs, we've talked about listings at the trend site and creating a Google alert. We've also talked about making sure that you sign up for Google Webmaster Tools, even though that's going to be a little later down the line. That will help you to determine what changes have been made and how they affect your website. So with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video.